So from darkness to light, not just transitioning marijuana to pay our taxes in and hemp industry, methodical, incessant black budget, black market disruption for maybe some sad psycho faces. But got me quite a pickle here, huh? I want my hemp plywood pressed fences. Fences make good neighbors. We want to be the uh, Kentucky bourbon of marijuana products and hemp for productivity, like 10 times as productive uh, per square acre than wood. Um, that's going on for me too, which is complicated. It's real brass tacks that way. I'm taking money from the mouths of psychopaths. And so is the rest of America if we continue on with the direction of the White House and the democratic process fettered by the deep state for sure. That's going on as the synthetic telepathy agenda unfolds, but it's quite a combat asset against synthetic telepathy. Keeping a good stone on. It's my secret to success. Me and so many people. So that's the backdrop of my hell house in Hillsborough. Broadcast still 15 years of this shit. It's, destroyed my rape codes like they did Dr. Horton, and the Kevin Christian situation disclosed in more perp end, and Arkman, I think is his name, Wes Penray's student, and then also in other areas too. And then, I'm kind of slowing down my thought. It gets pretty intense at speed of thought battles, and these are real people in other locations. And those black Swiss cheese hole portal exits that have depth in the darkness of space that you couldn't, it'd be like astrophysics. Like a Stephen Hawking's thing, not obtuse few word use, and it'd always be faked God. And synthetic telepathy is some of the worst crime I've encountered. And I believe my monitors that say that Stephen Hawking's was disabled in college. I was too. What else? So, I'm trying not to be a useful idiot, but I'm getting used at speed of thought for stuff that's going on in at least domestic affairs. I'm an American first, everything else second, in terms of international states, other countries. Blue state Democrat, wonk, higher ed specialist, like bipartisanship, and it's not only because I've been tortured to be more conservative, because I've seen the hell of what law enforcement have to us to oversee and what it's like having no such agency say, we're not going to protect you anymore. Here's the MF. Figure it out, schoolboy. I need my countrymen, and we're getting tortured into white nationalism. I knew better. Free will gone is a torture bot, at least for a moment. Race baiting, divide and conquer, militarization of domestic populations. It's all very military and intelligence and synthetic telepathy, not spiritual. We have a wealth of trained, battle-hardened, 2 wars in the Middle East, fruit and pride of society in terms of warriors that are now back. A second operation still going in Afghanistan, but a lot of those soldiers are home, and the synthetic telepathy agenda unfolds internationally, and I'm powerless to stop it, and get punished for trying to do things good and being too idealistic in things I didn't understand, like the EMF, this synthetic telepathy temptation, the structure of it, and all that had already happened, and it's overwhelming. And I really am one man, and I'm an American, And even though I got TI and my intelligence community was like, we're not going to protect you anymore, motherfucker. And that's not literally, figuratively. Because in the EMF, you can do that and then wake up in your own body, and it's Mara and similar mimicky of his encounters hanging out under a tree in India, having legions of demons, maybe more than 5,000, up in his grill in colorful language for the modern time. Hells of repeating things, illegal sender-receiver relationships with synthetic telepathy, off the press release of the website on the University of Washington, which led me to the openbci.com. And that's what it is. That's really what it is. That's what is behind the monitor. That is what is behind the Wizard of Oz. And there was great interest in not letting that information get widely distributed. And we've done a job that it could be illusionarily, measurably, for me, decent. It's very complicated and presented deceptively simple in Art of War. Appear weak when you are not weak. Very calculated, tried and true, centuries of and recent know-how. But this is bleeding edge. For me, still 15 years at TI. I think they've been making TI since the 20s, at least in recorded history, and faking people's old technology. And we need to be educated in psychological operations, BCI, getting not misled by idolatry with images in your head, very seriously. And then all this, Christians getting set up to be ruled by the EMF and handled, and what pretty little princesses and wizards you are when we're getting our human condition ridiculed and very being fed off in some of the most unholy ways. And we're the good Christian genomes. And it's Perpetopoulos laying in their own poopies, having all the fun. Understatement. So there's a lot of TIs on the Republican Party side that I want to say, hey, I have a theory, not on a theoretical shape of the universe, sort of donut shaped. I've talked about it, and then hypothesized in the mix-up of all of this stuff. Like, I'm in the fifth estate in the middle getting tortured, and you got the two chambers over here, one's Republican, one's Democrat, House, Senate, and I'm in the fifth estate, and like all this stuff is happening too, and then I'm getting fed good and bad information after it happens, and illusions of free will, like my arm getting moved to wake me up because somebody has remote control of my arm, and somebody pressing a button and making me have a hard-on when I wake up in the morning, and really human degrading stuff that has no redeemable value. And Stephen Colbert and some quick wordsmanship proved to a wordsmithy himself, CIA agent, on the Colbert Report, that torture really doesn't reduce terrorism. He kicked his fucking ass. Colbert was like, what, bitch? Like, it was pretty sweet, and he's right.